This is Public Access, our playtest of the Skinny Jeans edition of the game, Part 7. It has been a couple of months since we've played. We did a little bit of off-mic recapping in order to make sure we have a vague sense of what was happening in the story. If you are watching this and you're like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense based off what happened last time, well, maybe tell us in the comments. But for now, this is what we got. It's been a while. So let's recap for viewers, though. So taking a look at our mysteries, we have 3 active mysteries: Xxaagreus, Slumber Party Summoning Circle, and the Whisper. Xxaagreus is at a bit of a standstill. You have no questions to answer currently on Xxaagreus. You have, however, accessed the secret levels. And if I remember correctly, you're on the river level. You had done the initial garden level. You're on the river level. You know, out of character, you gotta just finish these secret levels, basically, to kind of be done with Xxaagreus. So that's a thing that's there. You've actually sorted out who Attaboy 85 is, and he's not a danger anymore. So really, Xxaagreus is just kind of there hanging out until you all decide to deal with it, or until I decide to make it a problem. Slumber Party Summoning Circle. You've determined that Linnea is possessed by a sorrowful ghost. You did go to Rodenbecker Ranch. You talked to some of her family members, including crazy cousin Dolores. And we know a couple of things about Linnea and her behavior. She's moving to different parts of Deep Lake, which are apparently significant to this ghost. And so we have seen her, you know, she went back to the ranch, obviously. Last day phase, you all didn't follow up on it, but she wandered, the night before she had been at the church. And so Katie did follow up on that, went to the church and talked to Father Rogelio. But then we found out that that day she was at this like bridge where people jump off of it historically. And then you're going to find out today that she kind of continued her travels in the last night while you all were having spaghetti dinner and hanging around in the Chromatic Desert. So that's a thing that's going on. She's kind of leading you. She's giving you your leads here of like of how to deal with this. We don't know where it all ends though, unless of course you are a editor or co-author of the scenario and you know where it goes or have read it. The Whisper, this is a really gruesome one. This is the one where this old lady murdered her husband in the middle of the annual neighborhood luau. And that neighborhood, Playa Morado, just happens to be where Teresa, Katie's mom, lives. You all did go to Teresa's house for spaghetti dinner. Well, Steve and Katie did. And while there, discovered that Teresa's in deep in this shit. There is a very, very strong suggestion that she drowned Katie's siblings and regrets not drowning Katie. There's a suggestion that she knows the man in the sun mask. There's a suggestion, a very overt suggestion, that she's talking to the Whisper.
One moment, Jason.
Yeah.
Who did you say she knows?
Oh, I said the man in the sun mask.
Wow.
Not me pulling the mask right off. The big man. And she has a sun tattoo on her back. That's why I got obviously just confused. Yeah, so she's deep in it. You got a few clues there. You haven't really had a chance to like investigate more widely in Playa Morado yet, but that's obviously something you could do. You know, the big thing we have to really address right now is the fact that Michael doesn't exist currently. Michael's in the Chromatic Desert. You all kind of quasi-glimpsed Michael a little bit when you watched the Lunaria Gomez tape. But for our purposes, you all have no memory of Michael. It's just Katie and Steve, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's that. However, let's move into our Latchkey recap. Michael, you did take I am error as an advancement, which says you can mark the Chromatic Desert whenever you want. The other Latchkeys don't forget who you are when you have it marked, and you can continue interacting with them so long as there is a television nearby. You appear on whatever program is being watched and can hear people when they speak to you through the TV. When the Latchkeys watch an Odyssey tape, your Latchkey scenes can take place inside the Odyssey tape scenes. That's kind of fun. We should explore that. You're in the Chromatic Desert, but by marking I am error, it kind of suggests that Katie and Steve do remember you, right?
Or remember me?
Remember you. Yeah. Maybe they find something of yours in the house, maybe during this day phase. That would be a lot of fun. We obviously have to have a bit of reconciling with what happened last night because like shit is getting real in Playa Morado.
Mhm.
Um, I do want to check in on conditions really quickly before we go any further. Steve is feeling good. I don't know what vitamin A has to do with it, but apparently it does. But also unnerved. That's a wild contradiction. I love it. Maybe Steve
Oh,
is only comfortable when he's feeling slightly unnerved. Katie's having a crisis of faith. Uh, I don't think you're the next victim anymore because we resolved that mystery, so you can take that off.
Nope, still the next victim because we did not resolve it in the.
Oh, in the way that you're supposed to resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. We
Mm-hmm.
should address that at some point.
Yes.
You also dream of Deep Lake. Do you remember what the sacrifice you have to make to
I think
that
it's just a
is?
generic, some kind of big offering to the lake. And I haven't given any offerings to the
I thought it
lake.
had to do
So.
with like your ambition or something,
mhm.
or
Oh,
like
I don't
your.
remember.
I think it did. It had to do with like your ambition or your victories and
Oh yeah, you have to like throw your bronze
or your
cheerleader
trophies in
jeans
the in
into
the
the
lake
light.
or
Like,
My
something.
trophies!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a casting off of your pretense essentially, right? Um,
Oh,
or maybe it's a facing of the fact that you are in fact not all that. So that might be worth looking into. Anyway,
excuse me?
the lake takes all types. Really good stuff there. Is there anything else we need to be reminded of? You do have a tape you haven't watched yet. You've currently watched 4 tapes. You have an impressive 6 Odyssey clues right now. I think that's pretty well where things stand right now. We have a day phase. We don't need to present new mysteries because we have 3 active mysteries, so we'll just do regular scenes. I think I do want to go around the table and find out what everyone's interested in doing. I think we have to have some kind of reckoning with this Michael situation.
mhm.
Maybe the TV is on. Maybe the TV being on is the basis of a thing that triggers a vulnerable move or whatever we call it, nostalgic move.
Mhm.
And so that's a possibility. What do we think about this initial scene, folks?
Um, I have an idea to throw out and see if it sticks. We could be, if we're still at, because the idea was if we stay at Teresa's house, then we're safe technically, and also she's knocked out, so I feel like we're okay right now.
Oh, so you might
Uh,
be at Playa Morado right now.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think we stayed over at Playa Morado, and I think she's got a little TV in the kitchen, just a little one, and maybe Twin Peaks is on.
Oh God.
I love it. It's pretty great. Um, I would love for it to be like a. I'm gonna play with that a little bit. So you do have Twin Peaks as your takes me back thing, right?
Actually, Steve does. Who
Oh,
killed
Steve
Laura
does.
Palmer? That's
Yep.
that's
Oh,
Twin
who killed
Peaks,
Laura
right?
Palmer? Oh, yeah,
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 okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I'd like to play with that a little bit and suggest that it's not so much that literal Twin Peaks is on, but like, remember how Twin Peaks had that soap opera that
Yes.
played in the background, right? I'd like to suggest that there's like a soap opera playing on the TV. And so Michael has to be in this like soap opera while also trying to communicate with all of you. And you all gradually remembering, like, oh yeah, this guy, he was here, right?
So
Yeah.
if I may pitch to you
Yeah.
the program, like, because all of those soap operas have that kind of like piano riff
Oh
in
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
you are watching the masks of our past.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another. That's my next question. What are we going to call this soap opera? I think we have to give it a name. The Masks of the Past.
I
Mhm.
like the Masks of the Past a
Okay. All
lot.
right. Very
That's
Yeah.
good.
very
It
Brindleverse.
was very diverse. All right. Let's do it. So Teresa's still knocked out. Then you all have this soap opera on. That's enough to trigger nostalgic move for my
Mhm.
purposes. And I'll remind you that during the Skinny Jeans edition playtest, you all get to participate in the nostalgic move. It doesn't have to be a 1v1. Just frame the scene, Katie. What's going on?
I think I slept, got a little bit of sleep on the couch. I didn't want to leave my mom alone for too long in case, she woke up for one or didn't for another. So yeah, I think I'm kind of in the kitchen, making a smoothie out of whatever my mom has that I can make a smoothie out of. It's mostly just like pasta stuff here. Weird.
She's super
Like
into pasta and Italian.
really into it.
I like to imagine that like at one point you all did, or she went to Italy or something, like, and so she's just like obsessed with it, and yeah.
But it's all just like variations on spaghetti.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably very Americanized too, right? What are you doing right now, Steve?
I think Steve is like slept on the couch and slept. I think we see Steve is like staring off a little bit at the spot on the floor where Teresa was like, like sprawled out. Not 1,000 yard trauma stare, but very clearly like Knudsen has, left the building for a bit. And then just the TV is playing in the background. Um, and he doesn't really realize like what's on the television.
Let's talk about that. Do 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 do. These are the masks of our past. Do 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 do. And I think like there's the title card is like uh the title card is like this tragedy, or this like smiling mask, and then as the words pop up, it like fades to be like a tragedy mask. Right? Yeah. It's like, oh. Michael. Door slams. I've had enough. I've had enough of your betrayal. I know what you did with Lucinda. I know you've been stepping out on me. Haven't I given you everything, Michael?
You have given me nothing in this life,
How can you say such things? I gave you three, no, four children.
all of which are disappointments.
Disappointments? Don't let little Lucius hear you say that. And she covers Lucius's ears. You're not a father. You're not a mother. You're not anything. You're a villain. You're a stone cold, heartless villain. And I want a divorce.
Well, to be better a villain than to be forgotten by everyone.
Dun 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 dun. What are you both doing?
I think that Steve at some point, like we see that, that's playing in the background. It's like one of those like long tracking shots of the living room where he eventually just kind of like gets up and is just kind of numbly going through the motions, clearly still out of it. He finds like a bowl of like Wheaties, like he gets like, like milk in it, and he just sits on the couch and he's just staring into them. And he's now beginning to kind of like come back to his senses, still very haggard and like got like some sleep exhaustion. Just begins to eat them and begins to pay attention to what's on TV. And then we see them like he raises the spoon to his mouth, and then just the milk begins to spill out from it as his hand goes slightly limp as he's staring at the screen in disbelief.
I'm just filling a blender with various items such as fresh tomatoes, fresh basil. There's fresh oregano. I found some beans. I'm gonna throw some beans in there. I'm trying to make a breakfast smoothie, and it's not really working out that well. But I put the lid on and I hit the button, and I think it's so loud that I can't hear the TV anymore. But I
And it's
turn.
covering the sound of Michael of Steve going, Katie, Katie. It just
I think we see like Lucinda and Michael like struggling on screen. They're having a little DV incident, and
Mhm.
Lucius is there like crying, and then someone storms in and breaks them apart, but we can't hear what they're saying because of the blender.
I think I do turn towards the TV, and I'm just sort of mindlessly watching it. It's just one of my mom's soaps. And I think there's at one point there's a good close up on Michael. What's Michael's face look like if we can't hear it? What's Michael doing in this? The close up.
Like I think Michael is doing his best at acting here because like again like he thinks that if like he can play along to this, at least it's not Panthers again. So like he's aware that he's in a soap opera currently.
Yeah, and I think I don't even turn off the blender. I just rip the cord out of the outlet and go bust into the living room. Steve,
Katie?
what happened to Michael?
I was going to ask you the same question.
What? When was the last time you saw him? Aside from right now on the freaking TV.
Blinks again. Michael's on television.
Michael, you hear that? Michael's on television. You hear those words somewhere in the ether.
I think with that, like Michael just starts shouting at these, frankly, NPCs like in his mind of like to just get out of here, to just leave him alone, to just go someplace else. To
Eduardo says, "Come with me, Lucinda. We shall leave this madman to his crazed thoughts. You too, Lucius. You shouldn't be around that. I've always been more like a father to you than him." And then Lucinda and Lucius and Eduardo sweep out of the room, leaving you there by yourself.
And I think Michael probably like takes like
do 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 the masks of our past. There's a commercial break.
Oh shit, change the channel. Hold on, wait. He fumbles for the remote and like flips over, and it's like an episode of like Seinfeld on the next channel over.
And I imagine like as like the scene opens with like this Seinfeld like apartment, like Michael just like opens the front door and just walks on in and just says, "So that's very fun, apparently. Now this is my life."
Laugh track.
God, it's so too many cooks.
Okay, so Michael is going through channels that we're watching. Try it again.
Okay.
And I think I grab the remote and I hit the channel and it goes into a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think it's fuck.
I've got it.
Blue's Clues? No, that's not
No, I've got it. No,
you got it?
It's 2004, so well, I guess there would have been Blue's Clues, but no, you just like walk in on this scene of like this little like colorful bear cartoon, and the bear says, "Okay, Michael, you just have to close your eyes and think good thoughts. Close your eyes and think good thoughts, and all of this will be over soon. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sparkle, sparkle. And then when you open your eyes, you're still there with this cartoon bear. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, I think it's like the cartoon version of Michael, like a little bit of like a more dorkify, if for lack of a better term, like big like glasses and whatnots, and like just like what appears to be like a nerd outfit. Okay, this is obviously not very pleasant. Could you please just, I don't know, turn this into like some sort of like documentary just so we can like have a chat or something?
Wait, Katie.
Oh, I've got it.
Is he,
Did he just talk to us?
Michael, can you hear us?
Yes.
No, of course.
The TV changes on its own to a nature documentary.
Oh no.
The jaguar
Oh shit. And then Michael just start running through the
leaps
jungle.
from branch to branch, seeking out its prey from on high. This is the situation. Michael can communicate with you. Michael is in fundamentally danger.
Michael is screaming, just terrified of
It's all
this.
Blair Witch. You just see like the camera wildly like shaking around, and every now and then you get a glimpse of the jaguar in the trees like stalking from above.
Change the channel, change the channel.
I think Steve will like snatch the remote out of Katie's hand,
What's a safe channel?
and just it turns it to the weather station.
And the TV just fizzles out.
Oh no.
Okay. Michael's in the TV. Michael's in the TV.
Michael was
Michael's in
talking
the
to
TV.
us. That's not there's not a microphone. So we were talking to a Okay, I need to sit down. He goes back onto the couch a little bit. He goes,
So my mom has a TV Odyssey tape. Michael's in the TV somehow.
somehow.
And to make
I keep
matters more
thinking
interesting,
about going to the lake.
you all get a text message, a frenzied text message from Samantha Harrington informing you. I mean, it's a T8 style text message, so it's all like shortened letters and stuff, or shortened words, informing you that Linnea spent last night. Where did she spend last night? I have to remind myself. Uh, in the old cemetery outside of town. And then she was spotted this morning walking toward the abandoned meatpacking factory.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, look. Okay. There's a lot happening. Someone's got to go to this meatpacking plant, I guess. Do you want to channel surf and maybe try to get in touch with Michael? I can head over to the meatpacking plant and make sure that Linnea is not going to hurt herself because apparently Michael's in the TV now, so it's just the two of us doing things.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Um, I'm just really worried if you go off, you'll somehow get sucked into the TV too.
Well, okay. My mom always used to tell me that if I watched too much TV, I'd end up inside of it. And that's why I kind of limit myself now to a healthy amount of television. So I'll probably be safe. I have to rationalize that as the case.
Uh, fine, fine. Okay, I'm fine. Everything's fine here.
Everything's fine.
And
You're fine. Everything's
I'm
good.
gonna
Fine.
stay here and
Yeah.
watch over my mom, who has an Odyssey tape and a strange tattoo and may have killed my siblings.
Do you want me to call Sheriff Hanscom?
What's he gonna do?
I'd take your mom into custody for attempted murder, I think.
But we don't have any proof. What if
Oh.
she's just sick?
Police don't need proof.
Well, true, but what if they're mean to her? This is
They
my
tried
mom.
to kill you.
Right,
Katie,
but
she may
maybe
have
she was.
confessed to killing your sibling last night.
But she was weird. She was being weird, right?
I've known your mom a grand total of 2 times. It's a 50-50 split at the moment.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
I'm gonna try the TV thing. If
All
I
right.
can't do anything, I'm gonna go and talk to some of the neighbors about this whisper deal and see if they know anything else about it.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
maybe
right.
that's what's going on with my mom.
Maybe your mom heard the whisper. Or maybe
Like,
it's messing with her head. Who knows? Okay. Hey, we got a plan. We got a
But
plan.
you gotta text me like every 10 minutes or something, or else I'm gonna think you're in the TV too.
It takes more than 10 minutes for me to get to the meatpacking plant. That would be wildly irresponsible if I text you while I'm driving, Katie.
Okay, just text me whenever you get somewhere new.
Okay.
Fantastic. I don't think any conditions got cleared, but I do think that you will be able to collectively define a clue as a group. It could be for any of the mysteries. It could be something that was found in Teresa's house. It might be something you glimpsed in one of the TV programs even. But be deciding on that. Meanwhile, Michael, you are being stalked by these jaguars, and they're chasing you first through this like jungle, but then the jungle like really rapidly gives way to like a sort of 1950s Leave It to Beaver style black and white neighborhood, and it's all that kind of normal, like people waving at you, like, as they mow the lawn and take in the milk or
Mhm.
whatever. But then, like, you see the jaguar, like, lurking on the roofs of the houses, and you're still running. You run through a couple more scenes like this, and eventually you are just back in the desert, in this strange, colorful desert that
Mhm.
you originally were in. No sign of the jaguars, but I think you've learned something about moving through space here. You're able to be places, you're able to observe things through the way, through whatever TV programs people are watching, or, I'm curious, all right, what are you going to do right now?
Well, just because I am able to travel through these programs, like going through them willy-nilly will not like get me to like an open t television for me
Mhm.
to like try to like communicate with other people and whatnot, to listen in and whatnot. So I think if you allow me, because this is a little bit of a push, I do have an item in my corner of the house that is labeled as a grimoire, but I'm
Mhm.
wondering if in this place it takes
The
the
TV
sort of
guide.
it's a TV guide.
That's really good. Yeah, I like it. That's really good. And it might even be, I'd like to suggest that it's a TV guide that because like the way a TV guide normally works is it tells you what programs are going to be on at what time and at what channel, and it gives you a little summary. But I
Mhm.
would think the way this TV guide works is it tells you what program a certain side character is going to be watching at any given time so that you can be there while they're watching it. And
I see.
so, which side character do you want to go interact with this way,
Oh gosh.
or where roughly do you want to go?
Uh, Probably honestly the Rodenbecker Ranch because like that seems they seem to like watch a lot of TV compared to like regular
Okay,
people.
I like that. That's good. Um, I think it would be interesting. I guess it's just going to depend on, do you want to communicate with the dad or with Trinity or with Silas? Cousin Dolores is a little different. She watches tapes,
Mhm.
and not television, but it might still be possible.
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to talk with the dad
Oh,
because like Michael is still trying to figure like all this out.
yeah, that's really good. Okay, I'll need to think about what that looks like on break, but I like where
Mhm.
you're going with that. Um, Steve, what's your first move here after you're done at Teresa's house?
Yeah, he's gonna hop in the car and make way to this JD meatpacking plant.
I think that's really great, and I think I'd like to suggest that you can actually hit the bridge and the cemetery on the way too, if you want.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like they're all like in a line, you know. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Um, and oh, I guess Amanda stepped away, but it sounded like Amanda was going to talk to people in Playa Morado, right? So I think that's really great. Let's take a 5 minute break so I can think about those scenes, then we'll come back and do them. All right, we are back with hour three of today's edition of Patriot Talk. I'm Bazooka Bert Holmgren. And folks, I've been telling you for a long, long time that the deep state wants to take away everything you've earned and give it to people who don't deserve it. So, for example, your successful ranch that, yes, you inherited from your family, but you turned it into something even better. And now there's a conspiracy to take that away from you. Well, I'm very happy to have a guest here today that knows about the conspiracy that's going on, and he's going to tell us all about it. Everybody, welcome Michael Schroeder. Michael, he gives you a salute. Welcome.
I cannot believe I got invited onto this TV show at
So when did
all.
you first become a victim of the deep state, Mr. Schroeder? When did you
Mm.
start to realize that there's something at play underneath all of this?
Well, it goes even deeper than what you may believe because, well, frankly, it's aliens.
Folks, I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of weird conspiracy theorist. I know we
Oh,
did that whole 8 hour exploration and examination of chemtrails, but I have to admit, I too have seen evidence of alien activity. And now the question I have is, what does the government know about these aliens? What do you think, Michael?
well, I think they know more than they actually do know more, because I think it's the aliens that is manipulating the
Well, I
government.
think they know that as well. That's great. All right, let's take some callers. All right, caller number one, you're on the line. Caller number one is Daryl Rodenbecker. Uh, hey, Bazooka Bert. My daughter's been acting kind of strange lately, and I think she might be under the influence of the deep state. You know, her behavior making me think that there's something going on there. What do you think I should do about that? Michael?
Uh, Rodenbecker, that's Deep Lake, yeah?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you have you been to Deep Lake,
I've
Mr.
been
Schroeder?
yeah, I've been to Deep Lake before. That's
Okay.
that
So,
that has a whole bunch of weirdness out there. I think it's probably the source about it. Could you tell me a little bit more about like how strange your daughter has been acting?
go ahead and make the meddling move with composure. Do you have any? What are your conditions right now? You don't
I
have
have
any.
none,
None.
surprisingly.
Somehow. Yeah, go for it.
Oh God, I really don't have anything I can use for advantage. That's a six.
A six. Oh wait, I'm gonna have to cut you off there, Daryl. Michael, if you'll just hold the line a bit. I'm getting word from my producers. Yeah. Oh. Oh no. Folks, I've just been informed by my producers that Mr. Schroeder might actually be an agent of the deep state. That's
God,
right, folks. Mr. Schroeder is a mole. He's a plant here to tear down those of us who are seeking the truth.
I have no idea about any of this.
We're going to take care of that right now, listeners or viewers and listeners. This is,
Is this like a podcast thing as well?
I don't know what that word means. We're going to take care of this right now. And he reaches underneath his neck and pulls off his face like it's a rubber mask. And underneath, you just see this polygonal jaguar with chrome fangs and glowing red eyes.
I think I'm going to like in a panic just pick up like the chair I was sitting in and just throw it at it.
Very good. This is going to be
Here comes Michael with the steel chair.
exactly, yeah, yeah. It switches to a wrestling program. This is gonna be the day move. What do you think is gonna happen if you fail?
I'm going to get my face eaten off by a
I
jaguar.
know. I think it's probably right. This is gonna be with vitality.
I don't know how Michael is good, but like I rolled a 10.
Nice, good. We'll come back to this in a moment. Katie, right? You were going to go chat with people on the cul-de-sac in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think I try and find a channel on the TV because I don't know if we're in control of what things Michael's going to be in or if Michael has control or anything. So I just find like a safe channel,
Yeah.
the channel where that shows the listings of what the TV guide listings,
Oh yeah,
and I
okay,
leave it on.
yeah, yeah.
Check on my
It
mom,
has
and
that
then
like
I'm gonna.
bossa nova music playing in the
Yeah.
background for
Yeah.
some reason.
You fail to notice that there is a note and summary of the program about Patriot Talk, and a little note that uh, special guest Michael Schroeder
Yeah, don't even
facing
notice.
down Jaguar. Yeah, exactly. Um,
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go talk to the people who live next door to the little old lady who did all the gruesome murdering.
oh, good. Let me pick a community member here.
Well, if Patriot Talk's on in the background, there's a very obvious choice.
You had like a connection with Joey Keane, right? From uh from the
Yeah, he
lake.
was
He was
he
the
was he
the
was one of the
bodyguard or the
guys.
lifeguard. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one
Yeah.
of my guys at the lake.
Yeah, yeah,
One of my
yeah.
men.
Yeah, he was indeed. I think that's really good. Um I think when you go next door, do you just like ring the doorbell or what?
Doorbell. I don't live in this neighborhood, so it seems more polite than knocking.
Yeah. A man opens the door. He has like a military crew cut, haircut. He's wearing khaki shorts and a salmon colored polo shirt. You also notice he's wearing a Rolex, so he must have some money here. Also, he looks like Joey Keane, but like 20 years older.
So is he hot?
Yeah, he's like dad hot, yeah,
All
for
right, all
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Just need to make sure.
He's like, "Can I help you?"
Oh, good morning, sir. Sorry to interrupt your morning. I'm Katie. My mom lives next door. Um,
Oh, right, yeah.
has have you heard anything weird lately?
You mean apart from one of our neighbors murdering her husband
Yeah,
in
that
front
was
of
pretty
everyone?
weird. Something like that, yeah. Stuff more like that than like other kinds of weird.
What's this all about?
I'm just doing some looking into something. I'm sorry, is your son named Joey?
Yes. Do you
Oh,
know him?
I do, from Deep Lake, like the lake, not, you know. Is he
Oh,
around?
are you one of the camp counselors that works at that?
Sort of, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
Oh,
affiliated.
right. Okay. Well, so I'm sorry. What's this about again?
Oh, I just came to talk
About
to Joey
oh,
about weird stuff in the
well,
neighborhood.
he'll probably be home in like 20 minutes. Do you want to just come in and wait for him?
That would be wonderful. Thank you for inviting me into your home. How long have you lived here?
Well, we moved in as soon as they finished this part of the development. We didn't know they weren't going to finish any more of the development at the time. But we like the place. It's private.
I'm privacy is key. I completely understand. How long have you been living? How long has my mother lived next door?
You don't know how long your mother has lived in the neighborhood?
No, we haven't had that conversation. That's a kind of a weird thing. I'm sure you've met my mom. She's
Hold on a second. Joey told me about some people in town who were like making a TV show or something. Are you part of that group?
definitely not making a TV show.
But you're the ones who are going around asking questions about things.
I am in a group of people that ask questions about things, correct?
Right, right. Okay.
Just trying to get to the truth, the truth of the matter in Deep Lake. If there's anything that is, and I think I'm giving him a look, like
A thing.
anything that's maybe interrupting our personal rights to privacy or making our own decisions or having our own free speech.
You can make the meddling move with reason, and Weirdly, I don't think any of your conditions apply, so go ahead and
Nice.
just roll 2d6.
Oh, that's a solid 3.
Ah, right. Good results lately. Yeah, it's good.
Thanks.
He says, I tell you what, it's about time for my first afternoon workout. Perhaps you'd like to join me in the garage. You can spot me, and we can talk about whatever weird things I might have seen.
Yeah, I'm a great spotter. I coach cheerleading. I'm awesome at spotting.
Great. Follow me. And he takes you into his garage. And we'll come back to this in a moment. Katie Wright making great decisions. Okay. Steve Knudsen. Oh boy, Steve. So you have to go across La Tristeza Bridge in order to reach this part of it's not even in town. This is like the outskirts of town, right?
Yeah.
The old cemetery is also on the way, and then of course the abandoned meatpacking plant, which is where you believe Linnea is right now. The bridge, referred to simply and perhaps ominously as La Tristeza, which means the sadness, is an old truss bridge stretching over a dry gorge. It's wood planks and rusted steel. It's only wide enough for 2 cars. The bridge gets its name, the sadness, from the large number of suicides it has hosted over the decades. What evidence of this dark history can be seen here?
I just think that the bridge is like covered in like graffiti, and like some of it is like beneath the oxidized rust, some of it's on top of it to speak to like the long history, but it's not like the typical kind of graffiti that's just like people tagging it. It's like people's names and memorial graffiti, and it's all very iconographic and sad.
I think the town officials have tried to put up like one of those steel like grated walls to prevent people from jumping. However, there are sections where it's just a little bit lower that have been like intentionally cut away.
There is a sign on either side of the bridge that says, please think before you make any big decisions crossing this bridge. Your family and friends love you. Either side.
Wow. Steve, do you want to do anything on the bridge, or are you just going to keep going?
I think because it was mentioned that she was here, I think for at the very least he'll pull off to the side of the road and like sigh, pull out his phone, text Katie because, all right, I reached the bridge. This is Steve. I pulled over to text you this. And then he'll just look at his phone and just shake his head and then put his hands back in the wheel like as he's about to go drive off. Then he pauses and thinks, okay, I'm here. He'll get out into like the hot, sun and just it's like a half-hearted like glimpse, like, all right, detective work. Anything here? Anything here? Just looks around before.
Make the meddling move with reason.
Sure. I think. Oh, and by the way, because we had a clue to define from earlier.
What is it? Yeah.
Messaged in DMs very briefly between Amanda and I, but I want to rope chaotic into this. So like something for like a clue for slumber party about something for like the TV. Amanda said like maybe something like an ad for the Crying Circle. One of the things I was thinking of is something about like because that like Care Bears cartoon. Maybe there's something in that. I was wondering maybe there's some kind of iconography from that television.
What if there's a cry bear?
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a grumpy bear,
Oh.
like fuck, what is that Care Bear's name? I know.
Grumpy bear, crying bear.
Well, I guess what would the clue be that it would
Yeah,
like,
so
stand
like
out to you?
the current question being that like the sorrowful ghost, like what does it want? So maybe like that crying bear made like some comment like if you're sad you gotta blah blah, it's like some kind of like saying that's like that's an interesting thing to hold on to about.
Oh, so what would the
sorrow and
saying
sadness.
be?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's
What
pretty
is
good.
crying bear's catchphrase?
Yeah.
The thing about pain is you just gotta get used to it.
you gotta just Not you just put it away, not think about it anymore.
Push your emotions down.
Your mind is like a storage unit. You just gotta box it all up and shut it away.
Oh.
This isn't the first time we've done a Care Bears CFB thing either.
No, it's not actually.
It's interesting. I mean,
Oh.
like the crying bear gives some advice. It has to be something that like kind of it almost like has to be like it's almost like the ghost is communicating with you or telling you something about what it's
Yeah.
I
doing
think,
or what it wants or what its
yeah,
deal is, you know?
yeah, I think it's just more or less like a contrast of like this very dopey, like crying bear trying to like try to quote unquote cheer people up by like saying like you should reach out to people and whatnot. However, in this particular quote unquote episode, it says you shouldn't reach out to your family because they don't actually care about
Oh,
you.
that's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So
Ooh.
maybe it could be something like crying bear says something like your family will always let you down. That's pretty,
Yeah, I
that's
love that's fucked up. That's real
So
good.
dark.
That's really dark.
Your family will always let. I'm just imagining it's fucking Eeyore's voice, you know?
Yeah.
Family will always let you down. Just
That's a good
cheesy.
clue.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome, you guys. So
right.
as back with Steve on the bridge. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you said meddling move with reason.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Also, I think because of
unnerved.
unnerved and because
Mhm.
you're on the suicide bridge, I'm going to put you at disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna. I'll go ahead and mark. I'll go ahead and clear feeling good the vitamin A because I think
Okay.
the vitamin A because I got it because she made me a smoothie.
Right.
And so I have like this like I'm like jazzed up on smoothie juice. So even though I'm unnerved, I'm like, okay, you know
Fight
what?
through
I'm
it.
feeling kind of
Fight through
healthy.
it.
Kind of healthy. Yeah. All right.
2d6.
So 2d6 rolling flat. Here we go. That's an 8.
Okay. We'll give you a clue in a bit. Michael Schroeder, I do like the idea of Daryl changes the channel to wrestling, and we see you grabbing a chair and you're jumping into the ring with this wrestler that looks like it looks like King from Tekken, right? It's like a jaguar-headed, wrestler. And yeah, but you're in control of the scene. How do you defeat him?
Yeah, I think God, because it's already canon that Michael changes his outfit with like the channel. Like Michael is in like wrestling shorts and whatnot, like picking up like this like steel chair, like
He's
in
so
no
pale.
he's so pale. In no right mind would anyone hire him for wrestling. But because wrestling is a bit of a show, like like we see uh Michael just sort of like over his head this steel chair and just bang it down on like this jaguar head character, and just like he keeps on doing it over and over again. Like I think some of the referees have to like pull Michael off of this guy and just like they just put him like into the corner in like a sort of a timeout, and just like saying why you do this, like you only needed to do this like a couple times, like it's just like a big argument.
I love it. Katie, you go into the garage, which has been kind of remade to be a gym. And normally, when people who have like gym garages, they would open the garage door. But Mr. Keene does not open the garage door. He turns on there's a single, like kind of a single white light bulb that illuminates the garage. And there's a really, really strong smell of like just heat and body odor. And you see the racks of the weights, you see the bench, you see, other equipment. And he just like takes off his salmon colored polo, and he reveals that he's pretty ripped for he's like middle-aged guy. And yeah, he says, you know, I don't know what you think is going on here in this neighborhood, but let me assure you it's nothing that an old Marine can't handle. Maybe you and your friends should worry more about getting your own lives in order and not poking around in business that has nothing to do with you. He grabs the jump rope off the rack. He says, "They told me you might be coming by."
Who's they?
You know who. The voices.
Oh. And did they tell you anything else?
He goes behind you and he closes the door to the interior of the house. And now it's just you and him in the garage.
Did they tell Mrs. Keene about anything? His name's Keene, right?
Yeah, Keen. Yeah.
Okay.
He says, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you look like you have maybe skipped a few chest and back days. Why don't you lay down on the bench there and I'll spot you?"
Oh, well, I didn't have my protein shake this morning, so I feel like it would just be a lost cause if I got in. It's not chest day for me, it's leg day. I never skip leg day.
And he kind of gets up behind you and he's got that jump rope and he says, "Well, okay. How do you feel about a little bit of aerobic exercise then?" And you can feel him putting the jump rope, draping it over your neck. What do you do?
I think my first instinct is to stick my hands up like this.
Yeah. This is
Kind
going
of
to
the
be
opera
the...
style.
I think
Yeah.
because we're in the dark garage, it's going to be the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
He's gonna kill me in his garage and then hide my body, and then I'll disappear, but I won't even go into a TV.
But I'm not sure how it's worse than that, except to say that he might just go crazy and like finally kill his wife and son too.
Oh no.
So, or not that he's already gone crazy, but more crazy. Snaps. Vitality.
Cool.
Oh, and because of the next victim, I'm putting you at disadvantage as well.
Well, that's not great. I'm actually going to think back. My first thought is thinking to my phone. So I mean, I can't do anything, but my first thought is get your phone and call the police. But then I realized I left my phone inside on the kitchen table,
Mm.
which I think is now lighting up to show that Steve has got to the bridge.
Yeah.
And then I think of all of the different kinds of training that I have done in my life for my physical activity and my cheerleading, including some self-defense. It's been a while, but I keep all records of all of my training in a journal, in a diary. And in my corner of the house, I do have a journal covered in stickers. And I have
Okay,
the
nice.
stickers are my color coding for the different
Yeah.
sections. And there's a Hello Kitty in a little ninja outfit, and those are my self-defense ones.
Nice.
And all I'm
Good.
thinking about is Hello Kitty
I
sticker.
like it. I love it. I love it. 2d6 plus vitality.
Oh, my vitality is okay. Wait, yeah, it's 1. All right, that's a 9.
Nice. You will be able to fend him off, but you're going to have to run out of this house. You're not going to be able to continue investigating here in any way.
Fair enough.
We'll come back to the scene in a moment. Steve, I owe you a clue. Yes.
Yes, from the bridge.
I need to review the clues you've already got before I go any further there. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. Okay, great. You find something really odd on the bridge. It's a small thing. It's the kind of thing that most people would not notice, but of course you notice it because of your inherited legacy of police work from your family. And it is a tiny doll's hand, like a baby doll's hand, plastic baby doll hand, wrapped with white thread. I owe you a complication as well. The complication is
Yes.
going to be fairly simple. Basically, there's like a delivery truck right behind you, like honking, like get your fucking car out of the way. So you gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. He just clocks it and just fucking hops back in and goes.
You'll eventually make it to the old cemetery. I mean, you know the path that Linnea took. Do you swing off the main road to go up the cemetery path?
Yeah, because as I understand it, or at least the way I'm intuiting it, is that she walked from the cemetery to the abandoned
To the
meatpacking plant.
meatpacking plant. Yeah, like
Yeah.
from like last night, she left. She like this morning she left the cemetery and went to.
Yeah, Michael's gonna not Michael, fucking Steve. Steve is gonna pull off the road and park up, and
Yeah,
yeah, he's intending to like walk through and take the long route.
this is an overgrown cemetery that hasn't been in use since the early 20th century. There are crooked rows of poorly tended headstones. It's all very overgrown. And you might even see a few large crypts belonging to long vanished families of prominence. Have you marked the Fathomless Well yet?
I have not.
Then there's no paint the scene. What do you
Oh,
do?
fun. I think just because knowing that she was here, but now that she's at an abandoned meatpacking plant, it's largely just he's passing through the cemetery. So it's not really like paying much attention to it, going towards like the edge of the fence. Can you even see the meatpacking plant from the cemetery?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna like, go through and get to the other side, hop the fence, and begin like trekking that way, assuming that I'm following a trail that Linnea went.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. You might even see it's since just this morning. It's like the middle of the day now, but you might even see like her footprints in the dirt. You know,
Sure, sure, yeah.
Michael. Once you're done defeating Bazooka Bert, uh, what do you do?
I think because technically I still I forgot about my one of my main moves. The truth is out there.
What does that do?
I at the start of the session I give out a clue that my benefactor gives me.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Uh
so maybe you
I
find something.
yeah, I think as like I'm like going through like the TV guide, I do find like a section that is just like question marks across the page. And like I think, oh, that's weird.
Oh,
So I go
interesting.
so I go to that and it looks like I'm in Deep Lake again.
Okay.
And I realize like I'm still like in the TV version of it because like again like like people talking to me is kind of like a little bit weird.
Hmm.
And I realize that the clue is that there is a secret camera uh on I believe it is like the cul-de-sac like near Katie's
Oh,
house.
oh, that's interesting. Teresa's house. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, yeah.
Um, oh, so that's a clue that it's a floating clue for this
Yeah.
move, but you can. It sounds like it's maybe part of the
The
whisper.
whisper. Yeah, I'm just gonna immediately just toss it at the
Okay,
whisper.
sounds good. Love that. That's great. Katie, technically I'm in charge of the scene here, but I would like to give you a chance to describe your self-defense.
It's very acrobatic. I think that she doesn't really remember a lot of what she learned in self-defense, but so it's mostly like cheerleading moves, but it works. And I think it actually works more because it's not expected rather than it's good. Um, but yeah, I think it's hands are up as the jump rope comes around and she's able to reach back and poke him in the eyes as he stands behind her
Yeah.
in hopes that it'll loosen his
Yeah, he
grip
like
on
he
the
like
rope.
yeah, he like cries out and lets go, and then you can just run out
Yeah.
of the house. Um,
I grab my phone as I run.
yeah, good. Where do you run to once you're done?
Ah, gosh. I mean, there's no one that can help over in my mom's house. So I think I run to the next door house.
Oh,
Oh, not
okay.
the next door house because that's the one with the old lady who did the murders.
There might be some, yeah. I mean,
I
there's
run
other
across the
houses.
street.
There's other houses. So yeah, fantastic. Um, I think you. Well, let's just go ahead and just get a house going. Do you just like bang on the door like
Yeah.
yeah, okay. An old woman answers the door, an older woman. She's wearing a blue floral muumuu dress, fuzzy cat slippers. She has a tangled nest of curly hair. And you first smell, when she opens the door, the powerful ammonia like smell of many cats. And then you see many cats as well, milling around her. She is a classic cat lady.
But someone who loves cats would surely be a helpful person, right?
She says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I live across the street. My mom is sick. The guy who lives next door, Mr. Keene, he is also sick. I'm just can you call oh gosh, I don't know, the sheriff
Come in,
maybe?
dear, come in.
Uh I'm very allergic to cats, so I think I should stay, but like can you just call for somebody, please?
Well, I don't have a telephone.
What?
I don't have a telephone.
How do you stay in contact with the world?
And she reaches down and picks up a cat. She says, "Why do I need to have contact with people when I have my little babies?"
I have my phone here. How
Here,
about
you
why
seem
don't
like you've had a rough morning. You seem a little out of sorts. Pet the little baby.
oh, I'm not really a cat person.
You want to pet the
Um
little
I'm
baby.
I'm just gonna stand here. If you could just keep me company while I call the sheriff.
All right, we'll keep you company. Isn't that right, little baby?
Thank you.
What do you
And
do?
I go to call the sheriff and I step away from the cat so it's out
Okay.
of scratching range because I don't trust that cat.
Hmm, fantastic. Steve. The abandoned meatpacking plant. Tall grass, rusting machinery. It's one of those kinds of abandoned factory type buildings where you have like these frosted glass windows and skylights, but they're all kind of busted. On the wall of the building on the outside, there's a faded mural of Hampton, the cartoon pig mascot of Janie Meatpackers Limited, exclaiming, "How's about some sausages, yeah?" You might remember Hampton the pig from when you lived here as a kid. This
Never
particular
understood that catchphrase.
Well, this particular mural is interesting because like it's like a cartoon Hampton the pig, and his own like stomach is split open, and it says, "How's about some sausages, yeah?" And he's like pulling sausage links out of his stomach, right? Let's paint the scene, everyone. We haven't even gone inside yet, but the question is, what about this place makes it seem like the setting for a slasher flick?
Just so many of like those industrial abandoned building broken windows of just like there's probably one broken glass around here everywhere, but it's just an obscene amount of just high windows that have like shattered holes in them, and then like you can tell that they've been like boarded up or plastic's been covered over them.
There don't seem to be a lot of exits on the main floor, but there are rickety stairways going up to a darker second floor.
The sort of strange thing is like when you have like places with graffiti, there it's always very clear about like who made it because like people signed their work and whatnot. But none of like the graffiti here is ever signed.
Steve, I think you have to do the day move just to enter the building.
Yeah, thanks for that, Amanda. All right.
What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve here?
I'm gonna get injured and get tetanus or something.
Well, no, to be clear, I'm making the roll
The
be like
nerve. Gotcha.
just the fear of going in,
Gotcha.
basically. Yeah.
I think I'm not afraid of just not going in. I think I'm afraid of being unaware of my surroundings when I go in.
Oh, that's
You
good.
know?
I love that. That's got to be composure, but I'm going to put you at disadvantage because of unnerved.
Let's see. Okay, I really don't want to have unnerved. Actually, my composure is not. It's a two, but I still kind of want to improve it. And I
Unnerved is the
argue
best condition. It's such an easy
it's
condition to push.
such an easy condition.
I know.
No, I can't think of anything, so I'm gonna roll with disadvantage.
What about
Oh
what about your?
boy.
Do you have any moves that would help you? Just out of curiosity.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I only have it's only if I'm dealing with cops.
The cop move. Yeah.
5.
Oh boy. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, but before we do, we see Steve. The film is grainy. Popping and sizzling grainy film as Steve calls into the factory from the doorway. Hello? Linnea? Are you here? The camera cuts to see Steve carefully stepping into the darkened entryway of the factory. In the background, Steve takes a few steps, and then we see behind Steve someone has a little mallet, like from the old days, like they might have used to do for the pigs. And though he's not killed, we just see thump, and Steve is knocked unconscious. That's the conclusion of your day phase, Steve.
I'm not marking or turning a key over that. That's honestly really fucking cool. That's so much fun.
Fantastic. Let's see how the other day phases wrap up here. Michael, remind me what you're doing. What was your plan?
Currently I ended up in like a TV deep lake effectively.
That's right. Oh, and you saw that. Oh, you got your clue. That's right.
Yeah.
So where that might be good enough, I think, for your phase. But if there's something else you want to add, we can do it. But
Yeah, like the only thing I could really think of would be just trying to test the limits of this sort of space. Because again, like, sure, I can communicate through TV, but could I communicate through other things, such as like I end up in like a station with like a telephone? Could I end up like calling my companions or whatever?
yeah, that's good. So, we'll just kind of leave you kind of exploring space a little bit.
Yeah.
Katie, you get Sheriff Hanscom on the phone eventually. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hi, Sheriff. This is Katie Wright.
Right, you're one of those kids making the documentary, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm over in I was visiting my mom, and then she got a little weird, but I think she's okay. I just think she's being kind of strange. Um, so okay, I'm over in Playa Morado. My mom tried to kill us, but I think she's okay. I think it was just the whisper. And then Mr. Keen, not Joey, but the dad, he tried to kill me, but I think it's the whisper again. And now I'm sorry, ma'am, what's your name?
The little baby says hello, Sheriff. And she waves the paw.
I'm across the street from the Keens.
Uh, Listen, Katie. I'm gonna send somebody around to come pick you up. Okay, just stay visible. Don't go in anyone else's house. Okay.
Okay, that's actually good advice. I
You do have
wish
a minute to kill while you're kind of just outside waiting on someone to come pick you up. What do you do?
um I think I'm gonna ask this lady if she's heard anything weird. Clearly the whisper is affecting the people in this neighborhood. So
Go ahead and just make the
ma'am,
meddling move with presence. No, composure.
I don't think I have a difference. Oh no, composure is better for me actually, so thank you. And that's a 7.
Nice. I think I'm going to give you a clue, but it's going to be a delayed clue.
Oh, fine.
The delayed clue. So you're talking to her, and she's she's out of it. Like you're not going to get anything useful from her. She does keep insisting that you come in and have tea with her and the babies, though. But you probably best advised to not do that. You do see. You do see this kind of tomboyish girl leaving one of the other houses, long black hair, covered by a Albuquerque Isotopes baseball cap, and she's kind of getting on her bike. And you notice that as she gets on her bike, she takes off the baseball cap, and she has like on her head like what appears to be like a piece of tinfoil that she's affixed with a rubber band. And she takes that off, like kind of exasperatedly, and folds it and puts it in her pocket and puts her ball cap back on. Like it's something she was doing out of sight of her parents. And then takes off on her bike. And there's something there, and you can follow up on it, but that's when the deputy, a deputy named Renita del Toro, comes and picks you up. And that'll be your day phase. So just make a note that you have a clue awaiting for you if you ever can follow up with that character. And I think that'll conclude our phase. Let's take a look at our desk phase before we go on break. Do we have any? I don't think there's any moves that fire off in the desk. Are you going to watch this Odyssey tape you have?
I think that would be ill-advised tonight.
I was thinking I'd watch it at the sheriff's station if
Oh boy.
I mean, so per the new rules, you don't have to be together to watch it. The tapes can get watched kind of out of character, right?
Right.
It just kind of depends on where you're watching it,
Yeah.
so to speak.
But if people want me to wait, I can wait.
The question is, so if you watch another tape, it will trigger Night of the Bone Wolves.
Wait, I thought it was it 5 or 6?
This is your oh, this is your fifth tape, right?
It's our 5th one.
Oh,
yeah.
it will not trigger Night of the Bone Wolves then. You will get an extra clue though, putting you closer to the Odyssey. Like you'll have 7 at that point, so that's
true.
maybe something. So that's another thing to keep in mind. How's everybody doing on keys right now? Like, how quickly do you all need this to wrap up?
I am doing pretty okay on Keys of Desolation because I only have Sandstone Arch marked, but I am, I only got 2 Keys of the Child left.
Mm.
I have 3 keys of the child before the white signal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have 3 keys of the child and 2 keys of desolation.
Okay, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room here. Maybe not a huge amount though, because you don't want to be doing the TV Odyssey mystery with no keys. So, just something to keep in mind in terms of pacing the campaign out. So, what do we think? Tape or no tape?
Like, since I'm air, my clues are still are available rather than being limited to just Odyssey tape.
You also, what does it say for I am error?
Basically,
Blah, 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 blah. Or you can accidentally tell you. I think you still have to follow the rules of the Chromatic Desert.
Okay, so I will I will highlight
Yeah,
my
you
clue.
need to highlight your clues until because you can only convey them through the Odyssey tapes, right?
All right, I'll highlight them in yellow. Thankfully, it's just one clue for now.
Right. So there's also a clue you don't have access to if you don't watch the Odyssey. It's another thing to keep in mind. Thoughts? What's the vote on Odyssey tape?
I will defer to Amanda's final jurisdiction.
Well, if that's the only way that Michael can.
Yeah, the clues would be useful.
But so far, I've only have like one clue, so like maybe we should just build it up a little bit first before we.
That's true.
That's true. That's actually a really good point. Let's build it up
Yeah.
then. Yeah, I'm fine with not watching a tape.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I left it at my mom's house.
So we do just a regular knife phase. That sounds good to me.
Mhm.
And do you want to answer a question?
I think we can. Like, we got some
You could.
easily answer the first question on the
honestly,
whisper.
Well, you don't have access to that one clue, but you can still do the first question for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can, and we should.
Let's review the clues.
Okay.
So we have this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
Effectively, we just have 4 clues for that because not
Right,
only we
yeah.
don't have my
Yeah.
clue, we still have the tinfoiled hat clue. That's
Oh, it's delayed.
Oh, that's delayed.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
actually
You know what?
You only have. So you have 4. Yeah.
I think what we should do is we should actually answer Slumber Party with a -1 because we do have the Key of Sadness. So even if we roll a miss, we could still bump it up. And because she's already at the meatpacking plant,
Yeah, shit's getting real.
Time
Yeah.
is crunched.
Time's running out. Yeah.
yeah. That I'm fine with.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. The question for Slumber Party is, what does the spirit, the sorrowful ghost, want? If you answer it correctly, you'll be able to resolve the mystery by helping the spirit find peace, thereby allowing it to return to the spirit world. The clues you have available are the Rodenbeckers are the only family that haven't lost any family members in a town where lots of people have family members go missing in strange circumstances, but they never have, and they're like an old family. The Crying Bear says your family will always let you down. And then we have the plastic baby doll's hand wrapped in white thread. This is not a lot to go on, and so I'm really curious to hear people's theories. We can take a little break if we need to think about it.
I do have some thoughts. Yeah, I'm fine taking a break.
Let's take like a 5-minute break. Give us some thoughts. We'll come back. We'll see what we got. So I heard a lot of animated discussion before hitting record. What is the answer to this question? What does the sorrowful ghost want?
We're still nailing it down, but we
Mhm.
figured that this is
I think it's
the
just
situation
revenge.
with the Rodenbeckers is a ready or not situation.
Oh.
When you marry into the family, there's some sort of ritual or tradition that you are also marrying into. And if you do not follow through with this tradition, or if you fail at it, something bad happens. What I'm thinking is the baby doll's hand is related to that in some way. And the Rodenbeckers do this tradition in order to protect their family from outside influences, which is why they don't have any family members go missing officially. None of the Rodenbecker children were ever gone missing.
Oh, so we can add some extra context that blood Rodenbeckers don't go missing, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rodenbeckers that marry into the family might go missing. And that actually, the doll with the white thread, that actually is a nice symbol, symbolism of marriage. I mean, it's not a whole lot to hang things on, but you're also rolling at -1, so
Yeah.
I still maintain. I have a take on this that we disagreed a little bit about, which was, well, the plastic baby doll's hand being at the suicide bridge made me think that there was something involving this person who married in where they were pregnant, or in some way, like there was a tragedy involving that, because it is a sorrowful ghost. It's not a vengeful ghost. It's a sorrowful ghost.
So you might have to keep it like pretty necessarily kind of vague, and just the idea simply being that this is a person, you don't even know who. It's just someone
from the past of the
family who married into the family who killed themselves. And that's kind of all you know. And maybe that's enough to convince the ghost to go away, or to leave Linnea alone. It's not a lot to go on, but that's okay. I mean, the rules of the game, you get to attempt it. Any other thoughts? It's interesting.
Well, because what the spirit wants, being the thing we're answering here. I mean, I think we can. I think acknowledgement, right? I think exactly that. But it wants to be because it was intentionally covered up and it was like buried and it was forgotten. It wants to be acknowledged, and it thinks, and this would explain why it's in Linnea's body. Is it because if there is a blood Rodenbecker death, it will be significant enough that maybe it will then be able to hitch a ride and go
Oh, that's
and move
interesting.
on.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean,
so
that's pure speculation on the
yeah,
Latchkey's part,
yeah,
but I like
yeah,
it. And I think it could be interesting if like the body of that person ended up in the old cemetery too,
yeah.
so that like that all no one asks any questions, or nobody like knows, that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. This is pretty wild speculation, but you might be correct. So it's a -1. Who wants to roll?
I don't.
Alex, you've the only person that have had
Sure.
like decent rolls today. Let's do it.
Now that you've said that, why would you say that? Okay.
Because it's funny.
All right. It's going to be a 2d6 -1. Here we go.
-1.
Okay. That's a total of 3.
Do you want to mark the key
Yes.
available to at least make it correct?
Yes, the key of
Okay.
sadness. Mark it so it's correct.
Okay. I'll remind you what the key of sadness is. The key of sadness says, let's find it here. Each latchkey narrates a flashback to a time when they experienced great sorrow, either their own or someone else's. What about that experience made you a stronger person? I think we'll do that in night phase. So we'll take a minute to think about those. We'll take a little break before night phase and think about that. But you are correct. You have unlocked the opportunity to resolve the mystery by helping the spirit find peace, thereby allowing it to return to the spirit world. I do want to go around the table and see what everyone wants to do for this night phase. I know what you're going to be doing, Steve, so I don't need any input from you.
What I want to do is escape.
Yeah. I mean, you might get a chance to resolve the mystery, actually, but I know what that looks like for you. Katie, what are you going to do tonight?
It's a really good question. I want to do some more.
You could go play the game. You could go play Xxaagreus.
You know what? Why not? I'm gonna go play Xxaagreus.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if you're like because you know that
Trying to get
Michael.
talk to Michael.
Michael was super into Xxaagreus, and maybe it's a way of just remembering Michael, if nothing else. Yeah. Michael, what are you going to do? Maybe you can be in the arcade somehow. I don't know.
Okay, I know. Again, I really, because the arcade is specifically not TV related, technically
There
speaking.
might be a TV in the arcade.
There's
though.
totally a TV in the
There's totally a
arcade.
TV in the arcade.
Yeah, like Michael cannot play Xxaagreus, and he'll feel like a little bit bad if like he was unseen. But here's the thing: someone needs to go to resolve Slumber. I cannot speak. Slumber Party Summoning Circle. So I'm thinking if I can track down the ghost and communicate it via television screen by acknowledging it
Oh.
as I'm kind of a ghost at this point, and we can have like a connection there.
Interesting. I have some ideas. So the nice thing about being in the Chromatic Desert is you can kind of be wherever you're needed. So
Yeah.
we can work that out. Okay, interesting. I like all those thoughts. Let's take 5 so you all can think about your key of sadness, and then we were sorrow, and then sadness or sorrow? Sadness.
Sad.
And then we'll come back and we'll do our night phase. It's the night phase. Who wants to narrate the key of sadness first?
I can. Let me just reread what the key actually says. Where is it? Jason, can you reread it for me? I can't find it.
It should be on the character keeper.
Oh, found it. Each latchkey narrates a flashback to a time when they experienced great sorrow, either their own or someone else's. What about the experience made you a stronger person? We see Katie as she is in the back of the sheriff's car on her way back home. And I think she's just sort of lost in thought, staring out the window, looking at a deep lake, at the town that she had lived in as a child, and how much it's changed and how much it hasn't since then, and thinking about her mom and her siblings. and the breakup of her family. And she thinks of the night where she told her mom that she was going to go live with dad in Oregon and not stay in Deep Lake with mom. And there was a strange moment where her mom looked relieved. And Katie didn't have the guts or the heart to ask why. So on the road, in the truck, her and her dad sat silently all the way up to Oregon to their new house, their new home, which was just a little rental. She never brought it up with her dad either. Never brought it up with anyone, actually. But later in her life, coaching young children, teenagers, she always tried to make sure that she told the kids that she appreciated them and the work they put in, even on bad days. Because sometimes the best you can do on a bad day isn't that great, but it's still the best you can do, and that deserves appreciation. And she's tried to bring that with her in her life to give appreciation and acknowledgement and tell people that they are wanted, because she didn't get that when she needed it.
Michael, you're in this kind of chromatic desert version of Deep Lake, and you see a woman who you might recognize. Maybe you've seen pictures or something, I don't know.
Mhm.
But you see this woman in your version of Deep Lake at the base of the water tower, and she's climbing the ladder to the top of the water tower. What do you do?
I go over to the water tower. You sure that you should be climbing that?
She looks down at you, and just a single tear rolls down her cheek. And then she keeps climbing.
I think I'm just gonna climb up after her.
Katie Wright, you are in the Galaxia Arcade. It's a pretty quiet night at the Galaxia Arcade, and people have been over Xxaagreus for a while, so you can walk right up to the machine. That's no trouble. I would like to even suggest that when you step up to the machine, there's some kind of evidence that Michael played this machine recently, either on the machine or nearby. What do you think it is? If anyone has an idea.
I think I have an idea, which is just that like it's the leaderboard is slightly like there's like a glitch where like the it'll like flicker and change, and like for a moment Michael's initials are on the leaderboard, but you know they glitch back out and it are constantly flickering in and out.
I think that's good. So you're going to play this level? The river?
Yep. Gonna do my best at the water level. Those are notoriously easy, right?
Indeed, yeah. The river level, ironic since you found an underground river in Deep Lake, is a black river with white pixel waves, souls of the drowning damned screaming in 8-bit tones. The gameplay is just a buggy ripoff of Frogger, requiring you to complete little navigational challenges to cross the river. Let's paint the screen, everyone. A pixelated object in the river makes you think of a deceased loved one. What is it?
in the river. It's only for a moment. It's in one of the fast parts where the pieces move really fast across the screen. I swear for a moment I see the little 8-bit images of two little children, a boy and a girl holding hands, their faces blue, just splash by.
I think one of the pixelated figures there is it looks to be like has like the massive like gray pixel hair that gives you the impression of like an old woman with like a big old tangle of curls. And she is just laying there against the river, unmoving, just floating like a log.
There are sort of echoing in the screens several names, the recognizable to as Katie, as Steve, but even as Michael. Michael was there, even though it's like 8-bit sort of discordant noises. There's almost a human-like quality to the voice of someone dear to Michael.
The press start move says when you play a game of Xxaagreus in an attempt to beat a secret level, you're going to roll with composure or reason, your choice. You have to make it with another -1 because of the level you're on. So it's going to be composure or reason -1. Which are you going to choose?
I think in this case it's composure because I've never really played video games, and I think I just got to keep myself from being like too negative, too like, oh, I messed it up, and just keep going. Like you get better each
Fantastic.
time.
So what's your composure score?
1.
So it's going to be 0.
Yeah, flat roll. And that's a 7.
Nice. On a hit, I'm going to mark a box here. Boop, done. And you also collect the level's prize.
Ooh.
The level's prize is you are visited by the specter of a deceased character in your dreams the next time you fall asleep. You will describe them, and then you may ask them 3 questions. I will answer truthfully, though not necessarily completely. I will clip the text of your prize here so you can do whatever you want with it, Amanda. Probably note it somewhere, though, so you remember.
Yeah.
Once the secret level's beaten, it is beaten, and you get to go to the next level.
Wow, that was easy. I don't know what was taking Michael so
I
long.
know, simple. Steve, you start to come to. Your vision is, we're getting the kind of the camera view of your vision, like it's just a little line of vision, and then you gradually, it opens up as you come more and more conscious. You're still on the factory floor, though it's nighttime, and you just hear. Who would like to narrate their key of sadness next?
Sure, why not? Yeah. I think this one takes us to a post graduated high school Steve Knudsen, but it's the summer before like a college season would start. And before anyone asks, no, of course Steve didn't go to college. But contrary to one's opinions of him or perception, Steve did have a girlfriend out of high school. Um, and the thing was, she was going to college. Um, and, you know, he didn't go. He didn't think it was that big of a deal. She did go, and he decided at one point he was going to surprise his girlfriend during their freshman year by visiting her at her campus at the University of Nebraska, and a few states away. And the thing is that he had discovered on that trip that she had been cheating on him with someone she had met at college. And now I will tell you this now. What made him stronger, that is entirely Steve's subjective opinion, because in his mind, he would never he knows not to trust women too much again, and he shut himself off and relied solely more on himself. That's not necessarily stronger in the best way, but to Steve, that is stronger.
God, Steve would love 2024, wouldn't he?
He would love it. I did write him to be a piece of shit in the modern day, so
yeah. We see we can see the transition in 20 years for Steve. Fantastic. Steve, you open your eyes and you realize that you are tied to a chair. No, you're hanging upside down. Your ankles bound by a chain. You have been stripped of your shirt. And you see someone in a Hampton the Pig walk around costume, the big, head and everything. Walking around you, they're dragging a chain with a hook at the end of it. Your mouth has been bound or gagged. And this person in the costume just turns to you, gets really close to you so that the big cartoon pig eyes are right in your face. There are only two states of being. A piglet suckling at the teat of muck, swollen and happy, or food for the trough. Which will you be today, I wonder? Will you join me at the breast of the great he-sow, or shall we grind up your blood and bones for the slop? What do you do, Steve?
He's hanging upside down. He just goes, well,
Your mouth is tied.
Give him the eyes of like, I'd like to answer, but my mouth is tied.
What's that? And then he pulls the gag off.
Hey, thanks. I was gonna say that well, I like teats as much as the next guy.
That's a good cut. Michael Schroeder, you get to the top of the water tower. And you can tell that this woman who she's dressed like she's out of time, like she's wearing, it's almost like a 1980s like long like kind of dress, and with like a long dress with like the pussy bow and like all that stuff, right? And hair kind of like like long with like the little like hairsprayed poof in the front, that kind of classic 80s hair. Maybe it's crimped. And she's just climbing onto the railing of the water tower. What do you do?
I think I sort of reach out to like stop her from jumping. I'm just like, why don't we just, at the very least, have a conversation first?
This is your chance, Michael. This is a manifestation of the ghost, the sorrowful ghost, the one who you all believe is a Rodenbecker by marriage, who was either killed or killed herself. It's a little unclear. But what do you say to her? This is your chance to at least stop all this.
I know they didn't treat you nicely at all, those Rodenbeckers. They'd even give you a chance to really take on their name properly, but this isn't the way. You like I see you at the very least. I see you now. I see you in front of me. I know what it's like to be forgotten.
Uh, Night move with presence. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I think as like she is standing here on the precipice, she'll just take a step backwards and jump.
Let's roll it.
You get to say how it's worse than
Oh,
that.
I do. Um, she takes you with her.
Mhm. God. I think as
What'd you get?
hold on,
Okay.
I need to argue for some corner of the ice house items first. I think because like Michael is really unsure about how to talk to women, a little bit. I think he just like as sort of a reaching out moment, he takes out a tube of lipstick, Miami Sunrise, to try to like offer some hope or just like see like this is a very pretty thing. Maybe we can have a talk about this.
Okay. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you, Miami Sunrise, for giving me an 11. This is with presents, so it's just an 11.
Oh, okay. Great. I tell you what, if you bump it up, she'll tell you something about the Rodenbeckers that got her killed. And that information will be an Odyssey clue.
Oh, Jason, how could you? That is too tempting. I will mark Key of the Child.
Very good. It resolves the threat or the mystery, but yeah, you'll get this like bonus info. Fantastic. Katie Wright, do you want to play another level?
I do. I do want to play another level.
The next level is the garden. Oh, you did the descent before, then the river, and now the garden. Green hedgerows and carnivorous plants, half-birthed shambling monsters, bright red pomegranate collectibles. This level requires you to find a variety of hidden items and assemble a key to the palace. Let's paint the screen. Something in this level reminds you of Deep Lake. What is it?
The general layout, of course, like it maps to the streets of Deep Lake.
There is a like pond in the lake that would, falling off of chaotic would be kind of in the rough position of Deep Lake. But there is specifically like a creature in the water.
I think too, a lot of these pomegranate colored things in here, they're the exact same color as the type of crab apples that grow around Deep Lake, which are sort of a pomegranate red, very well known to be poisonous, so you don't need them.
The roll now is made at -2, plus your composure or reason. Which do you choose?
I will choose composure again. Again, for the same reasons, because I don't know how to play video games.
So that makes your roll a -1 total.
Oh no, that's a 2.
On a miss, you have not beaten the level. You use up all your lives trying to beat the level, and you now take the condition obsessed with death. Regrettably, you already have 3 conditions, and so if you want to just turn a key to pass the level, you can.
Yeah, I'm going to turn a key.
That makes it, you do indeed complete the level. You've defeated the garden. You collect the prize. The prize is an item you lost in your childhood miraculously turns up the next day. Describe how it is more disturbing than you remember, and then add it to your corner of the house. I will clip that text for you again, Amanda.
Thank you.
Drop that into chat. But describe beating the level. How do you like finally assemble the key? How do you figure it out?
I think it's just brute force. I click on everything and try and click it all together. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it does work, it gives me a little like dopamine hit of da 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 da. And I think it's just a matter of just relentlessly trying every combination I can think of.
Oh, nice, good, good.
So
You just
not a
keep
lot of
you keep
intelligence
pumping
involved.
quarters into it, yeah,
Yeah.
until you get there. Yeah, it's good. Old FG's making good on Xxaagreus tonight. Oh boy, Steve Knudsen, the Hampton walk around character, begins doing that thing where he's tracing the hook along your belly, like he very clearly intends to cut you open and pull out your sausage links. What do you do right now?
I think I'm trying to like play it real cool and be like, okay, this dude's a fucking psycho. Yeah, let's talk about suckling that teats, man. And just trying to because at least in Steve's true crime perception of things, where it's like, oh yeah, the killers get off on you being scared and freaking out. So I'm gonna be like super chill and be like, yeah, that sounds good, man.
I love it. I love it. That's really good. Um, so you're just trying to like empathize with him,
I wouldn't
or
say necessarily empathize. I think it's just trying to play cool, like to like draw. I guess it's like a desperate bid to buy time, right? Because he's like,
oh,
okay, cool. It's like
well, once you do buy time, then what are you going to do then? If
I
you do,
think is slowly assembling an escape plan. It'll probably involve finding a way to get him down from the hanging chain. But for now, he doesn't want to
well,
continue.
he left your arms undone.
It's true. So I was thinking that like, if I can at least buy time and get him to leave the room, maybe then I'll be able to like, like work on my legs and be able to escape.
Let's just put a roll on it. So
Mhm.
night move. What do you think is going to happen if you fail?
That he's gonna just fucking gut me.
It's worse than that. He's then going to go hunting the rest of the latchkeys.
That is pretty worse.
This is going to be with composure and
I'm unnerved.
and you're unnerved. Actually, I think that actually in this situation, I think we've gone past nerves, so I don't think it actually affects you.
Okay, you're generous. Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
because we've kind of gone past like this is not like a situation where you're like, it's more like holy fuck, it's like pure adrenaline, right?
Yeah. Now I do in my personal or my corner of the house have access to the tunnels via the me and my self storage since we found the thing down in the me and my. Could I argue that I think that the tunnels lead to the meatpacking plant? So I'm kind of using that as like my escape plan of like, okay, cool. If I can get to the
Oh, you
tunnels, I
can
can
see like a hatch or something. That's
yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I'm into it.
cool. Then let's roll with advantage. All right. Thank God for
And +2, it's a good roll.
yeah. Okay. That is an 11.
Nice. Be thinking about your escape plan, what that scene
Yep.
looks like. Michael, she comes down. You have reached her. She clearly just wanted to be acknowledged. She wanted someone to know the truth of what happened to her. And she walks up to you and she whispers in your ear something that she learned about the Rodenbecker family. And that information she whispers to you is also an Odyssey clue. And it's up to the group to define what it is, what she whispers. That can be next time, or you can just put a pin in it for now. But that scene of yours concludes with you looking into Deep Lake from the Chromatic Desert as if you were watching a TV.
Mhm.
And you see Linnea now fully with her faculties back, confused, startled, climbing down the water tower, down to the safety of the ground. Slumber party is resolved. Katie, do you want to play the next level? The
Would like to play the
palace?
next level, but before I do that,
Mhm.
because I haven't used it this session and I am in a new location compared to where I was before, I would like to use Sight Beyond Sight.
Oh, what does that do?
The first time you enter a location, I just didn't call this at the beginning. You can ask the keeper what is about to happen. They will answer truthfully, though not necessarily completely.
Oh. Is the location actually like the palace in the video game? Maybe?
I think yeah. I think yeah. Then
Oh.
I can because I have the marked I have marked the sandstone arch, I can also ask why is it about to happen.
If you complete this level, you are going to get the ability to foresee a fellow Latchkey's death or demise and warn them about it. But you have to beat the level. Why is that happening? Well, I think quite simply, you're learning something fundamental about the truth of this machine, which gets you closer and closer to resolving the mystery of it, which is this machine is a gateway to the underworld. Indeed, it is an oracle of the underworld. It has the ability to show you things.
Dang.
Like so many things in Deep Lake, it's connected to that river of unseen, strange power. Are you going to play the level?
I am. Yeah, why not? What do I have to lose?
It's the same roll. It'll be at -2 total this time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me describe the level first. The palace is pillared chambers, masked courtiers. There's a shadowy king sitting upon a blood-red throne. This level requires you to solve a complex rhythm game, all while avoiding the knives of the court. Let's paint the screen, everyone. Something about this level makes you think the game is aware of you. What is it?
The king's courtiers somehow are all wearing the same cheerleading outfit that my cheerleaders wear.
The phrase, "You aren't Michael," keeps on popping up.
All of the knives that the court use are the exact same like knife that Teresa picked up in the kitchen.
Oh, nice. Good. Fantastic. Let's roll.
All right. This is with composure -2. Oh. I got deer heads. -2 is a 10.
10. Nice. You get the prize, which is great. And on a 10 plus, you also find a clue. How intriguing. It'll have to be a clue for another mystery because there's nothing else to do in Xxaagreus. I
Which
don't
suggests
think.
that Xxaagreus, because the machine is
Oh,
aware,
no.
it knows what's going on with the other mysteries.
No, there actually is another.
Oh.
There is another question on this mystery, which it could come from. Yeah. Well, wait. Let me make sure I've got this right. Author of this mystery. What happens here when?
Hold on, it's been a minute. I'll have to pull up Xxaagreus. Hold on. I wrote this a while ago and I haven't run Xxaagreus in a while.
Let's pull up Xxaagreus. See what.
Yeah, I can tell you what my authorial intent was. Let's see. Mysteries. Here it is. All right.
Oh no, yeah. Another question is unlocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Or that's the possibility. So you can get another clue for this. Or it could be, well, yeah, I think it'll be another clue for this.
Mhm.
I'll give it to you. I just want to know, like, what does it look like when you like describe beating this level?
I think of all the levels so far, this one's the easiest because a rhythm game, I mean, that's
That's
just
your jam.
cheerleading,
Yeah, that's your
you know?
jam. Yeah.
And I think I get it even on the first try. And all the little cheerleaders with these knives, they come towards you to the beat, and all you have to do is evade them
Hmm.
and get all the way up to the king where you shine a light on this king in shadows to disperse the shadow. But it's
Fantastic.
strange when I shine the light in the game, the little torch that I have on the king. There is a moment where it seems like the machine powers down. It goes, boom, it comes back on. New one comes across the screen. There's a little dancing characters, the little cheerleaders with the knives, and all of the little cars from the Frogger one, and um, all this little celebration, and the credits are going up the screen. But it does seem like it's extremely dark in the arcade now. I don't think I've noticed that all of the other games and lights have turned off.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think she unlocked the final level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get here's your prize.
Okay.
The cabinet shows a prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise. In a future scene, when another Latchkey is getting ready to take an action that will require a die roll, you can warn them that Xxaagreus predicted their death. If they go through with the action, you both mark XP. On the die roll, however, the miss result is replaced with "you are killed." The keeper describes how. So essentially, you tell them about a prophecy like, "Oh, I think this is the arcade machine told me you're going to die this way," and then if they roll and get a miss, they do die that way. So that's the idea. Um,
For clarification, I imagine I have to be in the same scene.
yeah, you have. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that makes most sense. You have to like say,
Yeah.
but you both get XP, so that's cool. You have unlocked the final level. Just be thinking about whether you want to continue playing. Let me check in with Steve. Steve, wrap up this scene with Hampton.
Yeah, so I think Hampton like is looking at Steve for a while and eventually after some, ominous horror movie pacing around, leaves the immediate room again, dragging the hook behind them. Steven, no, I keep saying Michael. Steve knows that this is the part of the horror movie where like the killer leaves, but is going to come back, and that's probably going to be curtains for him. So he, manages to, after a few failed attempts, collapse his core muscles to tuck and like, reach up, hanging there, exhausted, sweat coming off of his face in buckets. He takes some slow, deep breaths, remembers some cardio things Katie had told him about, and like, shifts his hips forward and begins to engage the muscles and go up to clutch at his feet, and eventually manages to get himself free. He falls hard to the ground, slams up his upper shoulders. That's going to hurt in the morning. But he manages to like scramble, and then in the gloom, stumbles and goes into this like hatch that he had spotted earlier, and stumbles into the absolute darkness, where he goes racing into what he believes to be the tunnels, and trusting that he will find his way out. Just puts distance behind him in the plant.
Has everyone done the Key of Sorrow or the Key of
I
Sadness?
still owe it.
Go ahead, Michael.
I think with this entire situation, we cut back to Michael's pretty much first, very early memories of the first Christmas that he had spent here in Deep Lake. Christmas of, I believe it was 89. So pretty young for Michael. It was pretty nonchalant Christmas. It was a very nice and tidy Christmas tree. There was presents, and he was having such a grand time, but his parents seemed awfully intense about it. Like they were prepared for any moment of like tragedy striking. Because as much as like their own house had been decorated for Christmas, every other house in Deep Lake had not been decorated for Christmas because of the previous Christmas of '88 and what happened that year. I think for Michael, he grew stronger of just realizing that even though tragedy might happen all around you, you still have to keep on living.
Katie Wright, there is one more level. It just says Dev Null. Do you play it?
I'm trying to like reach into my meta knowledge of this mystery and remember what happens here, and I don't remember.
Press play. Press start. See what happens.
Oh, I think Katie would make the decision to keep going. Yeah. That's what Michael would want.
As you go to select the final level, the cabinet just shuts off. After a moment of silence, the game comes back to life with the thrumming pulse of malevolent circuitry. The screen explodes into a multichromatic, glitchy strobe accompanied by shrill 8-bit tones. The Xxaagreus cabinet screams before shutting off. A literal scream. Shutting off for good. You have now unlocked the last question. What is the awful truth of the Xxaagreus disappearances? It's a complexity 6. Once you answer the question, you essentially resolve the mystery because you just post your findings on Vector Void. You have a clue from your last level, from the palace level, which is quite simply that the machine is an oracle of death. That concludes the night phase. Let's go to the dawn. You did resolve Slumber Party, so you get to collect the rewards from that mystery. I will paste those over into chat. They are a copy of The Crying Circle, an unpublished booklet from The Crying Circle called The Tome of Hatred, discovered in PDF form on the internet, a vial of holy water, presumably from the church. Silas Rodenbecker becomes a recurring side character. You get an extra clue on the meddling move when you seek his counsel on matters related to the old families of Degoya County, or one of you can choose a memento from the investigation. Who wants what?
I think it would make sense that I might have taken some holy water when I was at the church.
I like that.
I think Michael will get a copy of the Crying Circle because that makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the memento, and I want it from Amanda.
Mm. Think on it for a moment. I'll give you a moment to think on it. I'm going to keep going with Dawn questions. Dawn questions. You all did resolve a mystery, so everybody gets credit for that one. Signals from the other side don't count right now. Katie, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past? Even in flashback? Or the flashback counts as one.
I think,
or kind of. Yeah.
I don't know if it was chilling monologue, but I think there was a lot of reference last last session to when Katie was talking to Steve about what happened to her siblings and the idea that her mother might have killed them.
You would have gotten credit for that last time, though, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
we would
yeah,
have, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. We started the day phase today.
Yeah.
Were you
So I don't
vulnerable
think
with
so.
someone? Oh yes, with that psycho in the garage. you,
Mhm.
you were definitely vulnerable. um, Steve, were you vulnerable with someone? I mean, Hampton. Um,
I'll take it if you're willing to give me that one.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, even though you didn't have any choice, you were literally the literal answer to the
Yeah,
question is
literal,
yes.
literal vulnerable. Yeah,
Yeah.
vulnerable too. Yeah.
Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake? Yeah, honestly, your little journey, I would say
Okay, that's
so.
fair. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
be reconnecting in the sense of like trying to
yeah.
just track down Linnea.
You did
Sure.
the little Western on the trail thing. Um, Michael, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
Kind of, yeah. Like I reconnected with my fellow latchkeys once again.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's a good
Uh,
point. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
also sped my way through the TV's local like stations, quote unquote, in a weird conspiratorial way.
Yeah, I'm into it. You definitely cut loose for once as well by beating the shit out of Bert, Bazooka
by
Bert.
bring by bringing down the steel chair.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. That is Dawn questions answered. You can mark new ones if you wish. Um, does anyone have any unresolved key prompts?
I do.
Do you want to
A
save them for
key.
next time, or
Yeah, I'll save it for next time because
okay.
like it's a very tonally different one from
Yeah, we
my
can do it at
previous
the
one.
start of the session. That'll be good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have one and I'm gonna save it for next time as well for the same reason. I think it's probably the same one.
Yeah, sounds good.
I thought of the clue or the prize for Steve. Steve, I think the next time you take a look at that strange baby hand wrapped in thread, uh, there's also a you didn't notice this before, weirdly. There's a wedding ring around it.
Oh,
So you get a wedding ring.
Ooh, that's
nice.
good. I like that. And I will note that I took a new latchkey move, my first actual new latchkey move. I took "Come with me if you want to live."
Oh, good. Yeah, you earned that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. In CFB games we rarely see the earning of the learning of the move, so that was good. Fantastic. It's like playing D&D in here. Um, Love it. Okay, Stars and Wishes. That was a great session. I had a lot of
Mhm.
fun. Just throw that out there. But yeah, any specific stars and wishes anybody wants to give, please do.
I'll happily throw some out there. Specific stars to that entire like multiverse of madness
That
sequence
was
with
so
hopping
good.
to
Yeah, that was
channels. That
fun.
was so much
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I particularly love the like the dude pulls out the mask and it's the fucking jaguar. The recurring jaguar to torment Michael was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then cutting over to the wrestling was peak. I also really loved getting to see this was like a little selfish star. Just love the appearance of Sid Trong,
Yeah,
even minor as it
yeah.
was.
I've
One of
run
my
this like 4 times and never used her.
and
Yeah,
said I'm
yeah.
very glad that you showed her. But similar, I'm also very happy with the appearance of Hampton the pig,
Hmm.
because I love that just random little slasher character, and then started tying it over to Moch. That was great. And yeah, Amanda, I fucking loved your reactions to both Katie dealing with Maynard and also the cat lady whose name I'm blanking on, even though I wrote the mystery.
Bunny Suarez.
Yes, yes, Bunny Suarez. That was great, and also Jason, you're a freak. The way that you role played those two is great. Love that. And yeah, chaotic particular star to the very opening with the way you rolled with acting in the soap opera. It was really funny. That was great. Yeah, really fun session. It's been way too long, and so I was very happy that we got to play today, and it was a great session. I am definitely looking forward to maybe getting some more big man content. Miss that guy,
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
and I definitely think we should like tackle that Odyssey question because we're in a bad place right now.
I-
Maybe we should get ahead of the curve.
I'm doing my best.
Thank you.
But
My
yeah,
stars are very similar. The starting right off with that soap opera, it was such a great scene between the both of you, Jason and Chaotic. It was so great. Michael trying to act in a soap opera is so funny and so appropriate, and I really really enjoyed that. All the channel switching stuff was hilarious, and Stratford Jason for the like right wing nut job show, and having a way for Michael to interact with the mysteries through that. I thought that was really really fun and clever, and um, you know, tonally appropriate for the world.
Timely.
Yay. So I loved all of that. I loved Steve's whole adventure in the abandoned warehouse or meatpacking plant or whatever. It was just going to an abandoned meatpacking plant by yourself is such a bad idea to start with. I knew everything was going to be great. And then the introduction of Mock, and I wrote down, I like teats as much as the next guy. Just what a thing to say to Mock. Just beautiful. So yeah, this was so much fun. I'm really glad that we're back. I'm glad that we got our footing underneath us. I wasn't really sure where we were all pretty like, what happened last time when we started, but I think everything's going well. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm really impressed that Katie played a video game.
Yeah, I gotta give like a bunch of stars for everyone for just again just getting right into the meat of what's going on here, even though we have very little idea of what happened last time, besides some big beats. I really do like Jason for indulging my weird ideas for ranging from making the grimoire into like a TV guide to
Yeah, star for that. That was really good. Yeah.
To all the way to like, oh no, Michael's gonna resolve this threat. As well as just generally of just like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk to side characters via the mode of TV. And I really do enjoy it of just like, no, Michael's in this TV show now. And that's his only way of investigation. Uh uh Again, Steve Knudsen, the worst human among us, potentially not the worst human in this particular episode of Public Access, uh with a sort of a right-wing podcast guy.
I feel like there's a path that Steve Knudsen is going to be taking.
Yeah.
And one of those branches in the path is going to be like basically Gamergate in 2014. And Steve is either going to buy all into Gamergate and then Steve ends up in the bad place in 2024 and beyond. Or Steve realizes, maybe inspired by all of the cool things he experienced in Deep Lake, decides that no, I'm not going down that path, and Steve becomes a normal person. I feel like this is what history is going to have in store, but who knows?
Who knows? That or he just ends up into the Chromatic Desert and
Yeah, exactly. There's that too. Yeah, Steve might just be lost in the desert. Well, you all might be by the end, right? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, but a star for Katie for we rolled a 3. Of course, I'm going to go into this weird guy's garage, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I even kind of gave you a chance to back out at that point, and you still did it.
Because Katie is not smart.
Yeah, it was great. So many stars. This was such a fun session. Just like we were right back in it with the whole soap opera thing. That was great. And I like how that scene came about because, like you mentioned, Twin Peaks, and I thought of the soap opera, and then we all, just kind of went. And I kind of want to know what happens to Lucinda and Lucien and Eduardo in a sense. That was so good. Really, really loved I really enjoy that you all kind of like, I like the way you all continue the investigation, like how you kind of like picked up after that scene and kind of went your own separate ways to like try to figure out what's going on. Loads of fun with the TV hopping scenes. I already said it, but a star for the TV guide as your like way of getting through the grimoire is really, really clever. Really loved the scene with that Marine and Katie was so creepy. I felt weird even doing that scene. I was like, God, this is a weird fucking scene. Like, this is fucking but this is what we're doing, so let's do it. And but mostly because like it was so like, I mean, I would never play it this way, but like there was an implication of like what the scene was, right? And like so that was what made it like really creepy. And but it was good. I like the way it played out. Thought it was really entertaining, ultimately. Yeah, and just I like that Steve like pressed into the danger at the meatpacking plant. Like that was really, really fun. Like this game is at its best when people just go into the dark places and do the thing, you know? And so that was really fun because love Hampton, love that set piece. It's one of my favorites, and it's just good stuff. It's not a star, but it occurs to me that whenever we like the second book that will probably kickstart with the core book, which was probably going to be called Signals from the Other Side. That second book is gonna have to have a chapter of like ideas for the Chromatic Desert, right? Because like I love that we were able to come up with these like cool ideas for the Chromatic Desert, and I've been to the Chromatic Desert several times now in running it, and so I have like my own like kind of way of doing it, and it's not like the definitive way, but I have my thoughts on it, and I feel like people will appreciate like here are some ideas for the Chromatic Desert, right? I think that will be very helpful.
Oh yeah.
As a note for the future. But yeah, great session. I'm really my biggest wish is really more of an I'm interested to see if you're all going to jump the line and answer the Odyssey question, right? I think that would be really intriguing because
Yeah, I want to.
you can answer the Odyssey question and bypass all this other stuff and just get straight to the heart of the matter of like what the fuck is going on here, and that would be really interesting. So and for playtest purposes, I think that would be really cool. So I think it's all I got though. Any other stars and wishes?
Yeah, I think we can really easily jump the line next session because we
You'll have
are
+1.
yeah, +1.
Yeah. Don't forget we have to come up with that clue, by the way. All right. Well, this is great. I'm going to wave goodbye to people watching the video. Goodbye.
Bye.